Now, this sounds like good news for our area. A local charity has just been given £100,000 from the Barclays 100 times 100 COVID Relief Fund. Lloyd Cook is CEO of the Salt Box. Hello, Lloyd.
Hello, Liz. How are you?
Yes, very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, especially when you receive nice gifts like this.
Yeah, so how did this come about? It's a lot of money.
It is, and seemingly Barclays last year decided they wanted to find 100 charities in the UK and to give each one of them £100,000. So we applied, filled in all the forms, told them everything we were doing, and we were informed that we'd been successful. So, yeah, we received £100,000 to help with our caring work here in Stoke-on-Trent.
So tell us everything that you've been doing. What's been going on with Saltbox lately?
Well, as most people will be aware, I think lockdown and COVID has been especially hard on the more vulnerable in society. And we've been really ramping up a lot of our work. So we work with ex-offenders with a project called Restart. We work with people who are struggling with debt with a service called Money Matters. And CareLink is our service that looks after vulnerable elderly people who live alone. So we've used the money to employ 4 new staff. 2 of those are working in our debt advice service. 2 are working in our Restart service. But we've also used the rest of the money for things like emergency aid, food parcels, care supplies, PPE equipment, of course, and really just been able to go that extra mile for lots and lots of our clients.
Yeah, it's good news as well that you've been able to create jobs with this money. What will happen long term with those roles? I mean, are they aware that it's just a short term thing, or will you be looking again, trying to get some grants or handouts?
Well, we're like lots of charities, and this is part of our everyday life, that you receive funding, it allows you to develop and continue work, and then you look for more to carry it on. So, yeah, we'll certainly be looking for more funding in the future to sustain what we're doing. But our service has now been running for many years. This allows us to, at times, just to put a bit of a cherry on the cake. It allows us to go the extra mile. It allows us to develop what we're doing. Certainly with Money Matters, with our debt advice service, we've significantly increased the number of referrals. Again, really sad for Stoke-on-Trent. It's an area where debt is a real issue. So people often need lots of very practical support to make sure that they're accessing the right benefits, to make sure that they can take advantage of what's due to them. So we've been able to increase that, which is absolutely fabulous. But yes, Liz, in the future, we want to not only maintain what we're doing, but we want to increase it as well. Why,
Lloyd? You've obviously got experience of this. Why is debt such a big issue here? How is it? What are the factors that do lead a lot of people around Stoke-on-Trent into debt?
There's a whole mix, as you would guess. I mean, we're in an area where we've got lots of poverty, sadly, lots of areas of deprivation, sadly, lots of low-paid jobs, sadly. So increasingly, lots of people, Liz, who find themselves in debt aren't people who are without jobs. Sometimes they've got jobs, they're just not paying enough. It's a problem if you've got some illness in the family, if you've got family problems as well. So you've got this really difficult mix of circumstances that some people find themselves caught in. And sometimes it's no fault of their own. They're just in a difficult situation. And so very often they're trying to make their best. But you know what we've discovered? That lots of people, it isn't just a debt issue. Some people are due benefits and they're just not aware of them. So last year, for example, we helped people in Stoke-on-Trent to access over £100,000 worth of welfare benefits that were their right, but they never knew about it. Well, if the government are willing to pay them, then they ought to know. So we've been really thrilled to work with people and say, this is what you're allowed to claim. Seriously, honestly, let's help you to make sure that you take advantage of it.
How do you find these people, Lloyd, who need the help but don't know they need the help?
Well, it's a mixture. Some people, it's folk we've helped before, who will just by word of mouth say, oh, we were helped by Saltbox and by their debt advice service. Sometimes we get referred by outside agencies, other charities, because we do lots of work with churches and faith groups. Then often it can be faith groups who come across people who are struggling and say, would you talk to this person? They need some advice about how they address their debt. So word of mouth, sometimes through our website, sometimes through churches and other charities.
And what was it like, that decision of, you're suddenly given £100,000 to spend? How did that work, that decision process of where exactly it was going to go?
Well, we'd already put our plans in place, and that was part of the application process. We had to start the dreaming process and saying, if we were successful, what would we do? And that was how they ranked the bid. So we were able to say, yes, we'll employ some new staff, but we want to increase emergency food aid, food parcels, care supplies. We want to increase our usage of PPE. So you end up with a whole shopping list and a whole plan and a vision document. And we were just very grateful that Barclays, in amongst all the hundreds and thousands of applications, read ours and said, we want to send £100,000 to the people of Stoke-on-Trent.
Can you give us an idea, Lloyd, then, just finally, of how much of a difference that will make for you this year?
It's really key. It's helped us, Liz, to go the extra mile. And what we've discovered in caring for people who are in need is it's just that extra mile that makes the difference. It shows your care in very practical action. So the bottom line for us, Liz, is there are people in Stoke-on-Trent who are in need, who are really struggling, who we will be able to help more than ever because of gifts and grants like this. So we are really grateful, and we know it's making a difference in the city to local people.
It's good to hear some good news. Thanks, Lloyd, for coming on. Lloyd Cook, who's the CEO of the Salt Box, a Christian charity based in Hanley.